Hello, everybody. My name is Tom Burke. Uh, I'm here to talk about the Masters in Documentary Practice. This is a new Masters, a brand new Masters here at the School of Communications in DCU. It has just recently been approved and it is now open and taking applications. We have started to get applications already, even at this stage, which I suppose tells us that we are offering something that people are very interested in. And I'm going to talk to you for not very long because I don't want to steal time from Madeline. A lot of the things that I could say about the School of Communications as the context for this Masters, I think have already been said by the other presenters. But suffice to say, I was very kind of proud and happy to join the school a couple of years ago, as it is objectively and kind of verifiably one of the leading places to study communications really in the world at this point. I'm just going to move. Yeah. So, who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm Tom Burke. I studied communications here in DCU back in the late 90s and then have gone on to a career in both video production at the beginning and then documentary film work. Tending to tell stories with kind of a community bent. I'm often kind of straddling the border between documentary, anthropology, ethnography, things like that. That just tends to be what I have been interested in, just some of the things I've worked on. A mixture of projects that are based in Ireland. The Liberties is a Dublin-based project. Shooting the Darkness is about the Troubles in Northern Ireland. Losing Alaska is a film that came out a couple of years ago that I shot on the Bering Sea in a small village that was under threat from climate change. So again, different scales of projects. That's a more recent television project that went out in 2021. And most recently, this is The Peculiar Sensation of Being Pat Inglesby, which was in the cinema just before Christmas and will be on television later this year. So, I mean, that's, for context, that's me. My background is documentary film, but also a lot of these films are often, the Alaska one in particular, is something that I had to almost entirely do myself. So not just being a documentary director, but also a shooter and an editor of these projects. So I mention this because this is the kind of mixture of skills that we want to bring to bear for this new Masters. We're very much of the opinion that your modern factual storyteller has to be quite a self-sufficient individual. So we have to be conceiving of stories, evolving stories, able to engage with people, real people, the subjects of documentary projects, but also have the technical capacity to bring those stories to fruition. So the way we are structuring this Masters is very much as a kind of a three-headed beast, if you will. Three modes of storytelling. So it's not, I should be very clear about this, it's not a documentary film production Masters. It's very consciously called documentary practice because what we think there are commonalities of approach across the three modes of storytelling: film, photography, and audio. So from my own point of view, I will be taking a lead on the film and video, kind of the moving image based stories. Dr. Dragana Jurisic is both an academic and a practicing artistic photographer. She's a fine artist. She's very active. She's incredibly active. She's published 2 books in the last year. She shows in galleries. She is always creating work. And Andreas, if he's still listening, as well as being an academic and a swell guy, is kind of an audio guru when it comes to audio communication. As his picture suggests, he is both, he is and was a cool DJ and musician, but he's also an incredible field recordist, and a mixer of audio projects. So across the three of us, there's kind of a wealth of experience of both making work and studying the context in which that work is made. So the Masters in Documentary Practice is designed as quite an intense 12-month period of making and doing. So across there's effectively 3 semesters, like with a lot of these things, semester 1, 2, and then the third is the major project that takes place over the summer. What we are saying, again, it's year 1, so this is very much, we've kind of idealized the design of this in terms of what we want to do, but our offer to students is that we have 3 forms of external engagement between DCU and the world. The first of which is masterclasses with leading practitioners, both based in Ireland and people who visit here from abroad. So in semester 2, in that module, you will be meeting directors, photographers, editors, producers, colorists, podcasters, audio storytellers, a whole range of people who'll come in and present their work and kind of help us deconstruct it, talk about how it was made, how it was funded, and how it was put together. So we really want to put the best people from industry that we can find in front of students to really help them show how projects evolve across the different disciplines. We are also, because we're very connected with industry here in DCU, the pitching of students' final projects at the end of semester 2 in order to do their final projects in the summer, you will pitch to industry practitioners. So you will pitch to commissioning editors from, depending on the year, television channels, galleries, magazines, radio stations. You will have to pitch at an industry standard, and your pitch will kind of live or die according to those standards. And then what we also want to offer is a public outing of the finished work. So in anticipation that quite a lot of the work will take the form of documentary films, we have already secured a slot and an agreement with the Irish Film Institute to show finished student films at the IFI Documentary Festival in September. So there is, if you like, a guaranteed public outing for the work at the end of the year, which I always think is good to focus the mind. Now, just to broadly go through, very quickly go through the overview of the semesters. It begins with, we have audio and documentary video production in semester 1, because we find that those two are quite complementary to each other. So the documentary video production with me will be quite intensive. We expect to take people from the level that they come in at and get them to quite a high level of production quite quickly in that first semester. Quite important there is the documentary on screen module, which is led by Dr. Roddy Flynn, who is a kind of a leading film academic in the country, and he will be exposing students to the most important texts from the history of documentary film over the last 100 years, but also kind of examining, unpacking, deconstructing the most interesting modern documentaries and what they tell us about where the industry is going. In semester 2 then, we have Dragana will do the documentary photography module. There is a media audiences and consumption module, which is shared with a couple of other programs, which I think is kind of an essential module, which talks about how we as practitioners have to engage with the world and you know, who we're making our work for, and how that kind of reflexive relationship with the audiences can inform our work, which is massively important. Media law and ethics is also massively important, especially these days. the whole concept of ethics and ethical approaches and ethical obligations, I suppose, is woven through the whole program across the disciplines. My own PhD is on that very topic, so that stuff is going to find its way in across the whole program. And then the masterclass on proposal development, those two things go hand in hand. So week by week, leading industry figures are coming in, talking to us, talking about their work, and we use that then to inform and evolve the major proposals that are going to become the major documentary project over the summer. And then the summer is basically devoted to evolving, shooting, editing, and producing that major piece of work, which may be a film project, a photography series, maybe in the form of an exhibition or a book, or it may be a long-form audio project. We're not at this point in year one. We are not being prescriptive about the format of the final project. And very finally, with my salesman hat on, I suppose the offer in year one is that the first class is explicitly limited to 16 places. So that, we hope and we think, makes for quite an intimate, you could say intimate or you could say intense. Hopefully it'll be both intimate and the good kind of intense. But you know, the ratios will be small. It's possible to get to know 16 people. There is then no pressure on equipment and space. There has been very nice, brand new Sony cameras purchased specifically for this masters, with lenses and tripods and all the attendant material. So the students on this course will be very well resourced. They're also been given their own dedicated computer lab, and they're also been given brand new Mac Studio computers for their post-production needs. So that's all of that has been put in place in advance and is ready for the students to come in September. So then the question of who are we looking for, who is a good fit for this? We want people who are passionate about storytelling. We want people who are somewhat already in this space, who kind of can't help themselves but engage in factual storytelling. We want to take those people and give them as much theoretical information and context as we can, and also equip them with the technical skills to carry off these projects. So we're not asking that everybody comes in here and are already a highly skilled camera person or an editor, but we do ask that you have a genuine passion for this type of work, because the places are limited, and so we are going to have to make tough decisions about, who gets in and who doesn't get in. So a demonstrated passion. On the prospectus page, we ask for treatment and for ideas and a demonstration of that passion. But again, in this, I'm very open-minded at this point about who's gonna come in, and I think it's going to be a very interesting mix of people based on the applications we've had so far, and I think it's going to be fun.